Hello students, today we will continue to study the exhaust device. In this class, we will study the second section of the exhaust device and learn about the engine thrust reversers. First, let me introduce the function and principle of the thrust reversers. The function of the thrust reversers is to change the direction of the jet and generate reverse thrust so that the aircraft can slow down faster after landing, so as to shorten the taxiing distance of the aircraft after landing. The principle is to change the direction of the jet, and the jet after the change of direction is to jet obliquely forward. One thing to note is that in the civil aviation field, it is strictly forbidden for passenger planes to reverse. The main reasons are as follows. First, the airflow temperature is relatively high and more dangerous. Second, overheating of the engine may affect performance and damage accessories. Third, the airport has complete supporting facilities and there is a towing vehicle, so the passenger plane does not need to reverse by itself. In order to shorten the aircraft landing run distance, the aircraft uses a deceleration device, which includes brakes, drag, parachutes, drag plates, propeller, reverse propellers, and thrust reversers. So, an important function of the thrust reversers is to slow down. The spoiler of the deceleration device is emphasized here. It mainly achieves aircraft deceleration through two aspects. First, raising the spoiler will reduce the aircraft's lift and help the aircraft to land smoothly. On the other hand, the spoiler will generate resistance to help the aircraft slow down, thereby shortening the aircraft's landing run distance. What is a thrust reversers? Let's have a basic definition of it. The thrust reversers is to turn all or part of the gas after the turbine or afterburner, the inner duct or outer duct of the turbofan engine, to the front and discharge it obliquely to generate reverse thrust. The magnitude of the reverse thrust is related to the turned gas flow, exhaust speed, turning angle, and flight speed. According to the application, we divide the thrust reversers into two categories: internal thrust reverser and external thrust reverser. The former is also called hot air thrust reverser, and the latter is also called cold air thrust reverser. There are two types of internal thrust reverser: clamshell type and bucket door type. External thrust reverser is generally only grill type. The clamshell thrust reverser is located in front of the tail nozzle and consists of two clamshell thrust reverser housings, outlet cascades, and a control mechanism. Its working principle is to close the two thrust reverser doors, or deflect the airflow, and respectively pass through the upper and lower outlets and discharge from the outlet cascades to the oblique front, thereby generating reverse thrust. The scoop type thrust reversers is operated by a telescopic actuator. The airflow is discharged in the reverse direction. The actuator is installed on a guide rail extending backward from the combustion chamber to the nozzle. When the reverse thrust is turned on, the hydraulic pressure pushes the actuator backward into the nozzle. For turbofan engines, external bypass thrust reversers, also known as cold airflow thrust reversers, are usually used in actual use. They have two main advantages. First, they are effective because more than 80% of the thrust of a high bypass ratio turbofan engine comes from the fan, so the efficiency is high. Second, they are feasible because the return of the external bypass airflow has little effect on the internal airflow, which means that the impact on the engine operation is small. Students, in this class, we have learned the relevant knowledge of the engine thrust reverser. Students must master today's knowledge in a timely manner and apply it to other situations. Thank you.